words that she hid and said different words so that she wouldn't get caught. You better think twice. Blink twice? Yeah. She said that on purpose because in the movie there's a Desideria, the perfume in the movie where they forget everything that was said to them. So it's all about mind control. Desideria. Instead of, she called it Disturbia. Because it sounds similar. Blink twice. She can't say that. And why do you think she hasn't dropped in so long? She went into beauty instead of music because Jay-Z and Rock Nation can't touch her with cosmetics. Yeah, it's different. It's a different industry. You know the song Disturbia?
People who eat hot dogs eat them because they taste so good. But what's in them is not so good. You know, we've learned to accept it, but I don't know if you'll feel so accepting after this. The company Clear Foods recently analyzed 345 hot dog and sausage products from 75 brands and retailers and found, are you hot dog lovers ready for this? Human DNA.
Teach my husband and kids to be the third wife of a billionaire from Dubai. These are the crazy things he makes me do. If I want to fly anywhere, I can't go commercial. He makes me take one of his private jets everywhere I go. He makes me eat pineapples every day to avoid smelling down there.
So there's something called the dead internet theory. It's basically the idea that the overwhelming majority of the internet either already is or will become AI generated and not created by humans anymore. And it's not like a crazy conspiracy theory. I do actually believe it's true. I came across this account today with a lot of stories like,
my sister was a Balenciaga model for 5 years. Here are the ruthless beauty rules she followed to become the highest paid model.
and it's completely fake. Both the audio and the video, the pictures in the background, and the story. And this account gets millions of views. It has 120,000 followers, and the whole point of it is to direct traffic to the affiliate-linked products in the bio. Like in all these videos, the AI-generated women mention certain vitamins and beauty products and then have them linked in the bio so that people can buy them.
I'm happy to help anytime.
From the spirit world. It can be difficult for them to understand while in physical form. Often they refuse to believe even after experiencing their true spirit selves.
Crazy, right?
Yes, but I do believe in the spirit world. What about reincarnation? Reincarnation? I don't know much about that.
Reincarnation is the Buddhist philosophy where humans are reborn many times between this world and the next.
Well, what can I do?
And I agree. Huh? I get the feeling that I was an aristocrat or king in a past life. You guessed correctly. You were an aristocrat in your past life. Seriously? Is that so hard to imagine? People are reborn in different countries and eras as they accumulate experiences for growth. These are the core principles and teachings of reincarnation, a cycle of perpetual rebirth. But when the time comes for them to be reborn, they must forget everything they know and start their lives anew once again.
But why is that? Because that is the rule on Earth.
Wait, what do you mean?
What we mean is, the whole challenge of being in human form is key to remembering your spirit self. Whoa. Wait, that's way too difficult. It's impossible.
I understand. It certainly is difficult on Earth today as we know it.
There's a lot of them. Let's get to it.
In a virtual reality.
So when I was 8 years old in that appointment where I remember clear as day my doctor holding up the...
If you see somebody who's been happy their whole life, you're going to see the little crow's feet form right here, even around the age of 19 or 20. Our emotional billboard is our forehead. There's this behavior we have called an eyebrow flash, okay, which about 80% of people will return an eyebrow flash behavior without even knowing that they did it. That's how socially responsive we are. It comes down to this eyebrow flash. It's this, when we raise our eyebrows while we're talking to somebody, maybe for emphasis, when we're kind of bringing our eyebrows up like this. So you'll see somebody who's very social, they'll have those lines on the middle of their forehead. You won't see those forehead wrinkles in psychopath. I still haven't seen deep forehead wrinkles in a psychopath. That little connection, that emotional connection that we make to other people and how we express ourselves, and eyebrows coming up. Talks about this psychopath, and he He's in his apartment in the city one day, and he decides, I'm going to go get some tacos. As he's walking down to this taco place, he sees a car accident, and a mom is screaming and crying and holding her baby that has passed away, maybe a 2-year-old. And there's people onlooking and crying and screaming with her. The police are there trying to help her and stuff like that. And as he's staring at this incident unfolding inside of his head, here's what you hear. I think I want lettuce. I'm going to put lettuce in the tacos. Walks back by the scene again, looks at it again, comes back home and eats. And then that night before he's going to bed, he's looking in his bathroom mirror going like this. Just trying to mimic all of those facial expressions of people grieving and being sad by the car accident. Just rehearsing these facial expressions. It's terrifying. There's no empathy in that person. But that's a pure psychopath. If you see somebody who's been happy their whole life.
Okay, can I just tell you what he just described? It's like, oh, you're seeing a horrible thing, and then you're going home and you're making facial expressions in your mirror. You're emphasizing. And, like, you want to know what? Like, the way that you categorize it, like, to some degree, like, we all kind of see terrifying, traumatic experience. And you know what? We live in a world where it's like, you can let it linger or you can try to focus your attention on something else. This person's trying to forget what he fucking saw. And unfortunately, also too, like, sometimes, like, you need to stretch out your face. Sometimes, like, you're, like, especially with me, like, I find, like, I get really dry, my face gets dry, and then it's, like, and I'm, like, trying to stretch out my skin because my face is, and it's, like, you want to know, I feel like everyone right now is trying to figure out a way and is trying so hard to make each other look bad, demonic, evil, out to get you, ruthless, cutthroat. And do you want to know what? Like, same people that you grew up with as a kid, same today, everyone's the same. Why aren't we working together? Why aren't we trying to come together? Why aren't we trying to get projects going? Why aren't we, like, trying to emphasize teamwork and growing and greater capacity, greater trade, more efficient trade? Like, like, I don't get why we're halting everything. It's so ridiculous to me. Like,
you see someone.
Look at Trump is related to the Kennedy family. Here's how. George Patton is the grandson of Abraham Lincoln. Benito.
We want a race. That's what they're teaching. Just they weren't.
If you take the battery out of your phone, I can still listen to you. In the old days when you took batteries, you take the batteries out and think you're good, you go in there and skiff, and you can talk about everything. I can still listen to you. You're doing stuff that you could never find what you're doing, ever, and you never will. And it's in every piece of equipment right now. In every chip right now, there's stuff. And where are we buying all the chips from? John, if you take the battery out of your phone, I can still listen to you. In the old days when you took batteries out, you take the batteries out and think you're good, you go in there and skiff, and you can talk about whatever you want. I can still listen to you. We were doing stuff that you could never find what we were doing, ever, and you never will. And it's in every piece of equipment right now. In every chip right now, there's stuff. And where are we buying all the chips from? John, if you take the battery out of your phone, I can still listen to you. In the old days when you took batteries, you took
Back in 1973, Stanford University ran an experiment where they sent 8 mentally healthy patients to a mental hospital. All 8 patients were told to tell their doctors that they were hearing voices and seeing hallucinations. But once they got accepted into the mental hospital, they were told to act completely normal. The people in charge of this experiment did not tell the hospital or staff that they were running the experiment. After 7 days of all 8 patients being in the mental hospital, all of them were diagnosed with serious mental disorders. In fact, all 8 patients were diagnosed with either schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, even though the entire time they acted completely normal. Stanford University published their findings challenging the validity of diagnosing psychiatric disorders. When the hospital heard about this, they asked Stanford to perform the experiment one more time. They wanted to prove that they could accurately diagnose patients and tell if a patient was faking it or not. The experimenters back at Stanford told the hospital they would in fact send 8 more patients. For the next 5 weeks, the hospital really focused in on patients, trying to find the 8 patients that were quote-unquote faking it. After 5 weeks of looking for the 8 patients, the hospital called Stanford and claimed they found the 8 patients, only for Stanford to tell the hospital that they hadn't sent. Back in 1973, Stanford University ran an experiment.
Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why many of these statues from antiquity are missing their hands and feet? I mean, it's not just one, it's many. And if you haven't been down this rabbit hole, I'm about to blow your mind. But let me keep going for just a little bit longer here. Do you think that it is a coincidence that nearly every statue of antiquity is missing their hands? I mean, it's almost as if it were done on purpose. What do you think? Could it possibly be because we have records that told us that there were giant beings that once existed with 6 fingers and 6 toes? The Nephilim. And these were beings that came from the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were apparently the moon people in native traditions that had come down from the moon to try and help us recreate the world after the flood. Is this starting to sound a little familiar? Now those people, if you want to call them people, ended up mating with the normal people, and they gave birth to the Nephilim. And the Nephilim were the ones who eventually were told to leave. Look, they forgot this one. Now, I'm not claiming to be the one to have originated this research. If you go on the other app, YT, and check out a video from someone named My Lunch Break.
My kids are in their magical era, so I'm gonna love them.
Anybody ever warn you that if you have a good work ethic and you do really good at your job, that you not only get to do your job, you get to do everybody else's? Anybody ever warn you that if you...
Thank you to unlike each other. You can thank me tomorrow. Good night, June.
Good night, princess.
On pre-marriage, even if we're separated, so it would be great together. It was so much better than my mom. Growing up, she was addicted to painkillers. She never wanted to spend any time with me. She never did be ice skating or horseback riding. She was real fit. You were so right. It doesn't matter the age difference or how we met. All that matters is that he's a great guy. We have a really nice connection. I'm so sorry that I didn't trust you.
Thank you. Apology accepted. June, this is my mom. She's really upset. She thinks my dad is cheating on her. It's so good to meet you. I knew you two would like each other. You can thank me tomorrow. Good night, June.
Good night, Princess.
Be a TV scene as iconic as this one.
One less standing wins reward. Reward is your loved one gets to come back to camp with you for 24 hours. Ellie, Rick, living in Jesus. You generously gave up the chance to spend time with your loved ones so that John could get a little more information about his grandma. So we're going to give him an opportunity to do that.
No, I'm really looking forward, sir. Yeah, thank you. Did you like mine? I didn't cry, I tried. I don't know, it's good for you. It was sad. My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer right now.
You will never be a TV scene as iconic as this one.
In the medieval times, they practiced magic and witchcraft. There's something called the occult virtue of things, meaning everything has its own power. A bear is very strong, an owl stays up very late, a dog is heightened smell. They would rip out the heart of an animal to gain its virtue. If they wanted to stay up all night, they'd carry the heart of an owl. If they wanted more strength, they'd carry the heart of a bear. Now fast forward to today, the meat industry is massive. Are they feeding us all this meat to keep us locked in our animal nature? Because humans, we're more than just animals. We possess self-awareness. We can question reality. We can elevate to something beyond our instincts. The mind is connected to beyond physicality. But if we're constantly consuming flesh, we're being kept in this lower instinctual nature. In the medieval times, they practiced magic and witchcraft. There's something called the occult virtue of things, meaning everything has its own power. A bear is very strong. An owl stays up very late. A dog has heightened smell. They would rip out the heart of an animal to gain its virtue. If they wanted to stay up all night, they'd carry the heart of an owl. If they wanted more strength, they'd carry the heart of a bear. Now fast forward to today, the meat industry is massive. Are they
The Montreal St. Patrick's Day Parade is the longest running of its kind in Canada. But what makes this celebration of Irish heritage so important? It's the city's Irish legacy. While records show the first Irish immigrant arrived in 1661, it wasn't until the 19th century, during the Great Famine, that the Irish community truly began to shape Montreal's identity. Thousands of immigrants arrived, bringing with them stories of hardship, resilience, and hope. Many settled in an area called Griffintown, where they contributed to major infrastructure projects like the construction of the machine, bridges, and railroads. They soon began influencing Montreal's politics, business, and culture, leaving an indelible mark on the city's foundation. Today, visitors can
Shit. So Jerky Wright has basically said that they're going to use Kettleman as a sacrifice, and that the Super Bowl performance was just one big setup. So she's done this recent interview, right? And it's crazy because if you're Jerky Wright, a lot of shit that she said, and I'm really into this, and she's basically
basically said that Kendrick Lamar is the perfect person to eliminate right now. He is a perfect person to remove. Dracula has basically said that they need Kendrick gone because he is waking up too many people. She said, what's the difference between Bob Marley and Kendrick Lamar? Nothing, because they're both around the same age, and they have both at some point used their music to make people see the truth. She has boldly come out basically and said that the pattern with Tupac and Biggie Smalls is about to repeat itself all over again, and that this vicious circle.
I'm gonna help you.
I want to hear this shit.
You want that to go, right? This is Rococo. This is Art Nouveau. This is Art Deco. Have you heard about this app? Or is it to play the lights to someone that professionally collects the movie The Mummy on VHS for a living? So I don't make times like fresh. I start my mornings by watching The Mummy inside my hotel room. I then stop at the nearest rest stop and train for an hour. Myself for all the mummies that I will catch that day. I then have a detailed mapped out list of all the VHS stores in the area, and I stop at every single one looking for the mummy. I decided to relax my mind for a moment and wanted to watch the mummy on top of the mountain. I then drive down the mountain and I'm back to work. Mummy collected, baby. It wasn't the greatest day of finding, so I decided to stop at a temple and show a mummy, the mummy, and maybe get some momentum. I tried 2 more stores, but no luck. Time to go hit the beach, watch the mummy once.
So this might look like a fun clip with this beautiful young lady going down to the water with all these fish, looking quite majestic. But what you don't realize is that she is in grave danger. I'm an Eagle Scout. My cousin works at PetSmart in the fish section. And I'm a biologist, marine biologist.
Sorry, sir. It's been an emotional couple of days.
Just here to get their souls breaking.
I just wish I didn't hate them both so much.
Here's my last life. She's a terrible snore. You keep me up all night. Here's you might find out that big names. It's the very same thing.
Sorry, sir. It's been an emotional couple of days.
Just here to get their souls breaking.
I just wish I didn't hate them both so much.
Here's my last life. She's a terrible snorer. You keep me up all night. Here's the you might find out that big names. It's the very same thing. Hi there.
What's this?
Call from HR. Just letting you know we're not working from home.
You've gone for
Holy crap, guys, when you look at that, for once, we actually have a Hey Apple slideshow with a happy subject. So this TikTok slideshow starts off.
So you work 2 jobs,
I do.
and then you drive 2 hours to see him, and then when you get there, what happens?
He is gonna stay at home. Obviously, how can I call you?
When you get there, does he have his Batman mask on?
Most times if he doesn't, he looks like that.
Okay. And he has a Batman suit.
He does.
Does he wash this suit?
It has coffee, beer, but the inside of his Batman mask is absolutely disgusting.
You said he has a fungus growing.
Yeah, you can see white patches on top of his head. That's not like a sunburn or dry skin. That's like
Yes, was playing inside of his mask. He tried to play his mask in my first today, and I thought it was like actually slick.
My first motion was pushing me into Lexi. It was a securities motion. That 9/11 was a false flag.
For the first 10 years, I did not think anything other than the official narrative. Then,
So I just got off the phone with Apple support, and I basically said I'm not updating my phone to the new update. I had gotten to the Apple support because I needed help with another issue. They asked me, do you have your phone updated to the current update? I was like, no, because I don't want anything to do with Starlink. I don't want anything to do with Elon Musk. I don't want to have access to my phone in any way, whether it's his companies or him or whatever. The woman said, I understand that. That makes sense. It just, your phone is basically going to stop working. But she said that she understood, and then she said, if you want, here's a link to the feedback line. If enough people go into that feedback line and say they refuse to update their phones, and once they subsequently stop working because of Apple partnering with this fascist billionaire, and then you say that you won't buy Apple again, if enough of us do that, that is the kind of shit that gets stuff done, but it starts with one person doing it. I already did. So I just got off the phone with Apple support, and I basically said, I'm not updating my phone. It's with Steakhouse. It's with games. Steakhouse. This feels like a real Steakhouse. It's a little star. It's alright. It's this running. Where are the steakhouses? I should finish watching the video. You should see it.
It's Ruth's. Like Ruth doesn't rhyme with English.
I've been playing a certain new character class in Diablo, so I think it's time to give them what you just said. Yes. That's exactly what I just said. 144,000 could be the tipping point. Number that shifts the entire collective. That number isn't real. It appears in many ancient texts in Revelation as the sealed ones. The wicked ones, the ones who hold the frequency of Christ's consciousness. 144,000 doesn't mean only 144,000 people make it. It means
Even work right now. It's about morning, and we're at the last tip of my life.
Aww.
So now I'm to my left, and I go to bus. So people work right now. So there's a solo dropper. Say there's
someone talking was aggressive.
Since when people die, we have a basic nature. So I'm a very loud, chatty person, and you're a joke teller. So I do some of that will translate.
Well, Splurge, a 5-star resort for the people who want to do something really strange about the place.
This was kind of creepy, but we had this whole entire resort to ourselves. At first, it started as a joke, so I started recording our first day and seeing anybody but employees. You can see as the days progress, it starts to freak us out.
Where Joe and I quickly went to the Grand Palace Resort in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. It was just a tour film.
Things started getting a little creepier as we realized the activities also by ourselves. So it's who's this?
Saying Meg the Stallion is a transgender.
I'm saying that a stallion is a male horse, and a mare is a female horse. What kind of black woman would work so hard to put an innocent black man in jail for a crime he didn't commit that she was terrified about what he may say? You were the star, Chelsea was just your attachment. Yet he seemed to be interested more in Chelsea than he was in you. That big problem. Maybe he just liked real. That's why he couldn't get away from Chelsea. Maybe he didn't want to play Star Wars. Maybe that's why he
Because after seeing this video, it has completely changed everything. What I fear the most is that it'll change the way you guys think too. But if you can stomach it, I'll show you guys what's to be analysis next. In case you guys didn't know, this is Brittany. Brittany was born in 1977 and debuted her first role in 1971 in Brown. Continued making roles to where she even got to the point where she was featured in a married Ashton Kutcher, and even went all the way to the extent of being a voice actor in a movie. Sadly enough, she passed away in 2000. But a lot of people pointed their fingers at who she looked like, which is just like everything we're speculating that they were. Way there, I had the first time where I get into this.
I went to this party with Brittany Snow. She was from the Perfect Dolls. And I wanted to try like dosing mushrooms. It's like fun. It's a little more fun, but you have to stay up. It's the first time I've tried mushrooms. It's so high, and I just started saying, "Oh, I'm so high. Oh my God, I'm so high." Brittany was like, "Oh my God, one of my husbands is just tripping balls at a party. We have like a band to turn to this tree hormone." Brittany, like a hero, just took a bunch of mushrooms. To meet me. So like, it's just the two of us are in the corner of this party staring at each other, grinning like the Joker while like screaming tears. Oh, we felt great. There's no quick question. Is this legal?
You'll find out tomorrow morning.
I went to this
Since old Stan Lee come back. And Spanish.
Getting into the first year that we were in the season. So just share this moment with me. But you know, it's good. It's good.
The fuck? What did you tuning?
Something at this the other day, but apparently the Aztecs against the Spanish, they knew they were going to lose, and they were like, we have to use our secret in the Spanish. And it was them summoning people. And they didn't want to do it. They were like, if we summon the Elgar, we'll destroy the enemy and ourselves. It's like using a nuke. It was their ultimate weapon. All the Owl God was the guy that they dressed up like an owl, and they gave him a bunch of drugs and they threw him out of the battlefield. And there are Spanish reports that say there's a guy on the rooftops in the city that's dressed up like an owl shooting darts at him. So we killed him. And that's it. That's the end of the Aztec Empire.
Again, Mr. Crowley sort of admired Joseph Smith, and now it all makes sense, of course, because Joseph Smith was trying to argue maybe the first guy to really successfully utilize John Dee's Enochian language to make contact with entities. His was rural land. Alistair Crowley's was land. And then Alistair Crowley devises, that omnilantral work to make contact with this entity land. Then Jack Parsons comes around and they do a similar ritual called the Babylon working again to make contact. And it's interesting because they start the Babylon working, in 1946. And then the next year, Babylon is found, which...
What are they going to do when you say that the world's going to end in 10 years and the world is overpopulated? So to solve the problem, we can't be having as many kids. Just seeing the way they connect all these issues in their minds makes me really worried. Because in communist China, they literally forced abortions onto anybody who had more than one child. And they sterilized all the women that dared to get pregnant. So women were secretly having their kids and then keeping the kids in little tents and barns in the countryside. So this is not us freaking out and creating some hypothesis of what could happen. This is actually what leftist regimes do, especially when they start running out of resources. We have a private food shortage coming, and this is a classic step after leftist policies destroy a country. After they had the famine in China, they had no resources, and it resulted in one child policy. So this is disturbing. Leftism is evil and satanic, and I'm not surprised at all that now they're saying don't have kids. What are we going to do when we say that the world's going to end in
10 years, and the world is overpopulated, so if we solve the problem, we can't be having as many kids. Just see big parent all these issues in their lives makes me really worried, because in communist China, they
National Life Pack. If you strain all of the gold out of your gold slugger and take it to a pawn shop, oddly enough, they'll give you ginseng up to buy another fifth of gold slugger.
Now this is a life hack that can actually be useful. This is an infinite liquor glitch. Never heard of that before. Anyways, apparently the gold slugger, the gold inside the gold slugger, is enough to buy yourself another bottle of gold slugger. Now, this is a tedious task because you have to remove all of the gold flakes from inside, and this can damage your liquor, so be very careful. And use this cloth to separate the liquor from the flakes, so we can go in the pawn shop.
Best I can do is maybe a $19 Fortnite card.
And see if we have enough to buy ourselves another bottle. And honestly, I don't even know if this is real gold, to be honest. They could just be calling it gold slugger. Anyways, I got this scale that's going to weigh all of these by grams. And it looks like after removing all of the bits and pieces, we have 1 gram of gold. And according to this chart, gold is $90 per gram. Let's do that in 3 of these.
National Life Pack. If you strain all of the gold out of your gold slugger and take it to a pawn shop, just if you like.
So did you know Dora the Explorer lives inside a computer?
The ending of the word computer in Spanish is Dora. That's why she has a little cursor following her around, clicking on things. That's why there's a fox. And the point of her exploring is because there was a browser called Internet.
This is why you.
It's a wonderful day for plant. There's contents of tougher muscles. Muscles are divided into 3 main categories. Number 1 is smooth muscle. 2 is cardiac muscle. And number 3, skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle is the only muscle that actually number 2 is just muscle. It's your body. Yep. So it's muscles in your body are found in your greenhouse body small components. It's muscle in your body. What it is your hands. Jaw muscle. Jaw is muscle. Jaw is working muscle. That's your for some of you, your body is working way too. Disease is a real problem. It's the busiest muscles in your body, the muscles of your body. It is we always talk about push and pull muscles, right? I say it all the time when I'm programming. These muscles don't push. Your muscles only pull. How about you pull around?
last but certainly not least, I'm still, through all this time, I never realized I now have to be responsible for a human life. Somehow, after all of this